Hi Leos, and welcome to your reading for July 2019. My name is Melanie. This is a general reading for Leo Sun, Moon and Rising sign people, so it may or may not resonate, so just take what you like, leave the rest, and we'll just get into it. So I do a 5-card spread for monthly reading. So the first card you can see along the back there representing the past, any past energies which may be relevant this month. You have the Ace of Swords. The second card along representing current issues this month, current situation. What came through is the Ten of Swords. The third card representing possible obstacles this month. You guys have the Ten of Cups. The fourth card being about any helpful tools this month. You have the Queen of Cups, and the outcome card for the month of July for Leos is the Star card. And the two cards lying down there from a different deck that I use more like oracle cards. Normally I choose one card, but two cards fell out for you guys, so I've grabbed them both. I'll be reading about those cards later on towards the end of the reading. But those two cards are, the first one is called Red-Bellied Black Snake, and that represents independence. And the second card there is Ocean, and that represents surrender. So what does this all mean? So starting with the first card, the Ace of Swords in the position of the past. So it looks like at some point in your past, whether recent or distant past, you had a brand new vision of something. Aces are about the start of something, the birth of something, early days, baby steps, new potential gifts from the divine, some sort of divine, say, inspiration coming through. So something that was new for you, that gave you a lot of, say, mental clarity. There was a sense of knowledge and wisdom about, say, this idea that perhaps came through. It's a card of having strength of mind, of victory, of cutting away crap. It's a courageous card of having vision and insight, and focusing on triumph, of accomplishing things, of developing good skills, or very good skills in communication, being quite analytical and rational about something. So it looks like something in the past that you started on, that sort of came to you perhaps in a flash of inspiration, or you had some real mental clarity about something, which felt like it came out of the blue, like a gift from the heavens, or came through, I don't know, spiritual means or something. Was very significant, we would say, and you felt, I guess, excited about this, and that your mind was generating some sort of brilliant new ideas, or you had a real sense of wisdom about something, and you were able to start something new in your life. Something significantly new, I would say, and something quite different, probably something that, in terms of, say, some brilliant new idea or flash of inspiration that came out of the blue, that felt sort of divinely guided, but felt, I'd say, quite different to what you were thinking before, like representing a new way of thinking, or a brand new idea about something, or having a new interest in something, and sort of following that through. The second card representing the current month of July, the current sort of issues and situation, we have the Ten of Swords. So we've kind of gone from the Ace of Swords, brand new thinking, brand new stuff, to the Ten of Swords, which represents tens represent the end of a cycle, endings and beginnings, so the 10 is the end of something, and of course with the end, therefore there is also a new beginning. So the Ten of Swords is about feeling defeated, feeling stabbed in the back, feeling betrayed, feeling there's the sense of the death of something, the death of perhaps, or the defeat of something, feeling defeated, in a state of crisis or loss. maybe something, but also a sense of overkill with this card. 10 swords in the back, you're probably going to die from just one sword in the back. It could be the death of a way of thinking about something. It seems connected though to whatever that new thing was with the Ace of Swords. Something now is ending. But with that ending is, like I said, a new beginning, the dawn of something new. It's very much about having faith when the chips are down, when you're on your last legs and something perhaps hasn't quite worked out, or it's just gone completely not how you thought it would go, and you're feeling kind of just done. Just kind of something in you has died, or something that you were working on has died. It can represent a metaphorical death of, hence, of something that may not physically be in your life, but or it could be, of course, but it could the death of an idea or a concept or a way of thinking, belief system that you had, or an idea that you had that you wanted to grow and develop, either has ended, has died, hasn't worked out. There's a feeling of loss, of sort of crisis, of disillusionment, of betrayal of some sort, and feeling quite at rock bottom. But of course, if you're at rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. And this does suggest that whilst perhaps it has been a difficult ending, it's needed to happen. And if you embrace that ending, as difficult as that can be, and accept it, and be in the grief, or be in the frustration and disappointment, and accept that, I would say, then something wonderful new is coming in. What's that? There's a statement I like, quote I like, that new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings, and I think that the Ten of Swords very much symbolises that quote, which I've seen on a card somewhere. So new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. The third card along, representing possible obstacles this month, you guys have another 10, but you have the 10 of swords, 10 of cups, not swords. This I thought was a really interesting card to have in the obstacle position, because the 10 of Cups card is typically about wonderful happiness, happy families, happy connections, happy relationships, the rainbow after the storm. And I guess there has been some sort of storm brewing and has broken in July, we can see with that 10 of Swords cup. That things, typically with this card, it's kind of a joyous card. It's a card of celebration, of coming together to celebrate something. A lot of family contentment, unity, happiness, and emotional contentment. But whilst this card isn't reversed, it's in the position of an obstacle. So what can that mean? It can mean that perhaps you feel trapped in a way. You feel either in a relationship or in a family, in your family, or in a system which looks like a family. So that could be. So what I mean by that is like a group of people. So all groups operate as systems. So we have the classic family operating as a system, but you have work families, or with work colleagues or acquaintances, friend circles. Even everyone tends to have their roles, whether that's consciously known or unconsciously known. So maybe you're feeling a bit trapped in some sort of relationship or family situation. Perhaps also you were feeling a bit too caught up and swept up in the fantasy of a happy family, or fantasy of a happy relationship, of a happy marriage kind of thing. But really, you're dreaming too much about, you're a bit too much kind of dreamy and emotional around that. And being a bit obsessed with having this kind of perfect notion of something in relation to families or relationships shuts down options to allow it to bloom, how it's going to bloom or how it's not. Perhaps also your things aren't going well there and you've been ignoring that to your detriment because you don't want to face the reality. You know, it's often very difficult to accept that a relationship isn't working out, and perhaps you are a bit discontent, and you need to kind of actually face that and get to the bottom of that, really work that out. So there's sort of an element there of discontent, of bit of emotional kind of fantasy around that, and be wary of being stuck in this or being too swept away in that fantasy of, I don't know, happy family or happy relationship, of having the white picket fence, so to speak, and you know, being overly drawn to this notion of perfection of what something should look like, because it really is perfect, and that's not realistic. There's also a sense of not being quite realistic about something. So just to be very mindful of where your head is at in that regard, or your heart is at in relation to some sort of ending and beginning that is happening this month. So if we think about that painful ending of something, the death of something, maybe kind of refusing to accept that and clinging to some sort of no, it's all good, it's all right. But I think this is suggesting that you need to let go of that. You need to let go of that dream that didn't work out, as painful as that can be. But unless and until you do that, you're blocking the door and the dawn of something new. You are stopping that from coming in. So what may be useful this month? You guys got the Queen of Cups card. Another Cups card, so another card to do with feelings and emotions, connections, relationships, matters of the heart. This could be an actual person who comes in this month that is useful. It could be a woman, doesn't have to be. It can be someone who embodies the energies of the card. Could be it could be a older woman who is a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or like I said, it could be just someone who embodies the energies of this sign. Could be a therapist of some sort, or a really good friend. So this is a card about really, it's an emotional card. She's an emotional woman. She listens to the Queen of Cups listens to her heart and her emotions over her head, over her thinking. Obviously that can be a wonderful thing, or it could be a not so helpful thing, but this card is in the position of what may be helpful. So perhaps tuning into your feelings rather than getting caught up in this fantasy kind of thing going on in your head may be more useful this month. And in that sense, listening to your gut and to your intuition and what is coming through intuitively or through your subconscious, and sort of subconscious feelings may be helpful, but to also, you got to balance that up with not being too swept away in fantasy. I think it's kind of a delicate balance here, and being able to stay in reality. So, there's a sensitivity with this card, an emotional sensitivity, and needing to sort of rely perhaps on an emotional support system that is real, is not some sort of, yeah, we're there for you, but when you really need them, they're actually fair weather friends or fair weather family members or something like that. Where are your really good, deep emotional connections? Who is that with? And to find them through whatever difficulty comes up this month with that Ten of Swords card there. So, find someone or people that you can really talk to, be with, be vulnerable with, show all the range of emotions with, and they still love and accept and support you as you are. They're very validating of your emotions. Finding a place for that, or a person like that, could be very useful this month. The outcome card for the month is the Star card, which I think is lovely. considering you've got the Ten of Swords as the primary kind of energy this month, it's a little scary. I'm a Leo sun myself, so I'm like, oh man. I kind of get this reading though. This kind of makes sense for me. Anyway, so the star. Here we are, ending with new hope. With, we wish upon a star as a sense of faith and recovery, and a light at the end of the tunnel. With this card being sort of feeling guided by the stars, that you're trusting yourself, that you have faith in the universe and in your gut. You're listening to yourself, you're listening to your heart, you're listening to the universe. There's a sense of renewal and replenishment with this card. There's a lot of hope associated with this card of feeling inspired, of growing emotionally, of being generous, of feeling being on the receiving end of someone else's generosity. There's a real sense of optimism with this card. Again, but it is also about balance. Balancing the watery elements you see in the card there with. See, she's sitting on the ground as well, so you kind of need to balance the groundedness and solid kind of energy with the heart and the emotional kind of energy, which I think is, we can see that reflection with the Ten of Cups as obstacle and Queen of Cups as helpful this month, saying yes, trust your feelings, yes, trust your intuition, but don't get caught up in the fantasy of how you think things should be, rather than seeing the reality of how things are and just embracing that. This is a card saying, the star is saying you're on the right path, feeling kind of quite guided by the stars. So it's quite reassuring, and a card of real sort of inspiration and spirituality and joy. Really, really kind of positive stuff. With however you pop out at the end of July. Moving on now to the two cards that are lying down there. I read from this book, the Dreamtime Reading Cards booklet that came with the cards. The Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual belief system. Beautiful belief system. I love these cards. I love the drawings, the dot paintings, very typical of Aboriginal Australian art, and I love the meaning behind these cards. So I'm going to read firstly about the red-bellied black snake and independence. The red-bellied black snake is a striking, shiny black venomous snake found in Australia. Its underbelly can be coloured anything from light pink to a deep scarlet red. It prefers to live near bodies of water. The red-bellied black snake is a ferocious mother when it comes to protecting her young, which, unlike most snakes, are birthed alive. We have the mother energy there with the Queen of Cups. We have the watery elements there with the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Star as well. Just kind of noting that. Anyway, although usually very independent, red-bellied black snakes will often gather while pregnant and help each other defend the next generation. This snake is associated with sisterhood and strength. It also symbolises sexuality, blood, and bloodlines. We see that, I think, with the Ten of Cups there. Family and kind of bloodlines. It's associated with all aspects of the woman, but its presence may be stronger during rites of passage such as first menses, motherhood, and menopause. The red-bellied black snake is a link to family. It shows you the beauty of motherhood. The mother's natural instinct is to protect and support her offspring. The snake also represents the wise grandmother and the aunt. To me, that really resonates with that Queen of Cups card there, that there may well be a person in your life this month who really embodies this real wise older woman energy, very feminine, mothering, nurturing, emotional energy. So whether that is a therapist or a really good female friend or a friend of any gender who embodies this feminine energy of this kind of wise mother, or wise kind of aunt. The red-bellied black snake also asks you to rethink your ideas about independence. Being independent means being responsible for your own actions and making decisions based on what is best for you. The red-bellied black snake reminds you that you can be independent and still accept support when it's offered. Accept any support that's coming in this month, guys. I think that's a double message for that with the Queen of Cups and this card. Then I'm going to now read about ocean and surrender. Australia is a huge island continent surrounded on all sides by the Pacific, Indian and Southern Oceans. People the world over flock to its beaches to enjoy their golden sand and beautiful clear turquoise waters. The ocean is powerful, and at times its waves can seem scary. At other times the waves are gentle, cleansing and refreshing. Salt water is great for cleansing your body and your auric field. You often feel lighter, sharper and more attuned after spending time bathing in the ocean's healing waters. The ocean also represents turbulence, changes, waves of power and quickly changing environments. Sometimes you are being challenged to ride the waves of power when you feel them approaching. There will also be times when you find yourself in calm waters, light-hearted and free. This card asks you to surrender to the power of the ocean and let yourself drift, allowing the waters to heal and cleanse you. This to me is the Star card, very healing card of replenishment, of recovery. A time of great power is upon you. Situations will move quickly and you may feel like the ground beneath you is slipping away. Now is a good time to indulge in long swims in the ocean or soak in a salted bath. Interesting. I think that may be well useful when you're feeling a bit or a lot wrecked by something that has ended this month, and you're needing to just cleanse yourself, I think, energetically speaking, let alone in every other regard, and not get too swamped by big waves of emotion. So whether that is actually chilling in some water, being near bodies of water, being in salt water or having some salt around you, or just tapping into that kind of watery emotional energy of someone else or sort of within you to ride those waves and to sort of still the emotional, the watery emotional body within you. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to wrap up this reading. So thank you so much for watching it and listening to it. I'm really, really grateful that you've given it your time and attention. So all the best for July, lovely Leos, and I'll see you in August. Bye.